Hi, today I'm going to show you how to assemble a two-layer cake. You'll need a few tools for this task. You'll need a spatula, either a straight spatula or an offset spatula. I personally like the offset spatula because it's easy on the wrist. If you have a Lazy Susan, that will make your job easier. I'm going to use a professional cake turntable for my cake today, and I'm going to use a piece of non-skid material to help prevent my cake from sliding when I build it. You'll want to assemble your cake either on a flat plate, you don't want anything with sides that will interfere with icing your cake, or you can use a cardboard cake round. We're going to build our cake bottoms up, tops down. We've previously baked and cooled this cake, and we're now ready to assemble. So place your cake on your plate or your cardboard round, center it, and then pull the paper off. Our next step is to fill this cake. Place a blob of the chocolate buttercream on the center of your cake, and then with one of your spatulas, spread the buttercream to the edge of the cake. And this doesn't have to look pretty, just get it level. Our next step is to place the second layer on top of our filling. Once again, it will be bottoms up, and this will give us the flattest, most level surface for our finished cake. We'll have a much better looking cake if we have the flat level surface on top rather than the rounded domed surface. Next, we will put another big blob of icing on the top of the cake. Smooth it just like we did with the filling. Bring the buttercream all the way over to the edge, and if it hangs over a little bit, that's good. After the top, then we move on to the sides. For the sides, put a little bit of buttercream on your spatula and ice just a small section of the side at a time. Resist the temptation to put a large blob of frosting on your spatula and move all the way around the cake. What sometimes happens when you do that is you work up a lot of crumbs. So you want to control your icing by just icing a small section of the cake at a time. And pay attention to the consistency of your buttercream. If you find that it's too soft, it could possibly fall off your cake, slide right down the sides. To control that, you can put your buttercream right back on the mixer and add a little more powdered sugar so you get the consistency that you want. If you find that your icing is too stiff, it will tear up your cake and it can work crumbs into the icing as you're icing your cake. So to control that, sometimes just mixing the icing for a minute or two on the mixer with your paddle attachment will loosen it. If that doesn't take care of the problem, then add a little bit of water until you get to the consistency that you want. So you want your icing to be something that is sturdy enough and firm enough to stay on the cake, but not so stiff that it tears up your cake as you're icing. So we've finished the sides. We're going to go back through and just give the top one more touch to clean up these edges here. And as we're icing now, we're just using our spatula to make some swirls. And then any buttercream that you have down along the bottom of your cake or your cake board, that can be cleaned up with just using your spatula or a paper towel. So here we have a finished iced cake that's ready to eat. You can stop here and have a great looking cake, great tasting cake, or use this as the basis for a more decorated cake. Chocolate curls, chocolate shavings, piping on top, whatever you want to do. I'm going to show you how to portion this cake into 8 equal-sized servings. You want to start with first just marking your cake in half. Turn your cake and then mark again in half so that you have equal-sized quarters. Then mark each quarter in half. I'm just lining up my knife against the edge of the cake and then rolling it to the center. And there you have 8 servings, equal sizes each. I'm going to show you today how to grate chocolate. You can either use a handheld grater, or you can use this really handy tool called a microplane. I love this for zesting lemons and oranges, and it is really handy for making shaved chocolate. Today I'm using semi-sweet chocolate. This has been cut from a 10-pound block of chocolate. So to use the microplane, you want to hold it firmly, run your chocolate over it. You need to have a pretty firm grasp on your chocolate. This chocolate is room temperature. It will grate much easier than if it was real cold. What you need to know about chocolate is that if you use milk chocolate, it's going to be much, much easier to grate. It's a softer chocolate, and so you will apply less pressure. Be careful of zesting your fingers, though. This microplane is really sharp. So what you'll see here after zesting the chocolate, the microplane, is really fine chocolate shavings that you can put on cream pies for toppings, cakes, or even top your favorite hot drinks like lattes and mochas. I'm going to show you how to apply the chocolate shavings to the sides of our cake. If your hands are warm at all, here's a tip on how to chill them. Fill a glass with ice water. Hold on to that glass for a minute or two until the temperature of your hands drops. If you have any moisture on your hand after doing that, dry that off. We're going to hold the cake in one hand and then grab piles of this shaved chocolate in your other hand and press it against the side of the cake. Knock the bottom of the cake so the excess shaved chocolate falls off. Turn the cake in your hand, grab some more chocolate, press it against the sides of the cake, and then just continue on until the entire side of the cake is covered in shaved chocolate. I'm going to show you how to make chocolate curls. You need a large block of chocolate. This is 10 pounds. And you need some non-skid material. We'll place the chocolate on a large piece of parchment paper on the non-skid material. And then we're going to position it against your body, brace your chocolate, and then with a large chef's knife, I'm going to pull the chocolate toward me, and the chocolate will peel off in very thin layers, and as it peels toward me, it will form curls. You'll need to adjust your pressure for your chocolate, and as you do your curls, you'll figure out how much pressure to apply with your knife. If your pressure is too light, you won't get good curls. If it's too strong, you'll get very thick curls coming up. So what you want is something like this. Thin layers of chocolate just form beautiful curls. Shave across your block of chocolate, back and forth, up toward you. And then when you get a large enough pile of chocolate building up, you want to scoot that off onto a plate to get it out of your way. So here we have chocolate curls. These can now be sprinkled on a chocolate cream pie, applied to the sides of cakes, and they look very dramatic on cupcakes or on a hot coffee drink. We're going to finish this cake by decorating it with chocolate curls. Now that we've gone through the step-by-step process of how to make this very easy, very delicious chocolate cake, you can make it for your family and friends. Enjoy!